Do you think we're fine with the mic here instead of? Or do you want me to hold it?
You've probably got a good
Probably
pickup.
best to hold it.
Okay.
And you're ready whenever.
I'm Martha DeGrasse with RCR Wireless News, and I'm here today with Josh Apkudo. He is co-founder and I'm sorry, I have to start over. I'm Martha DeGrasse with RCR Wireless News, and I'm here today with Josh Matthews. He is CEO and co-founder of Apkudo. Josh, thanks so much for making the time to join us here today at CCA.
Cheers. Thank you.
So one of the big problems for the competitive carriers has always been the inability to get the newest devices as quickly as some of their larger rivals, and you have a solution in place that hopefully will address that. Can you tell us a little bit about Device Hub?
Yeah, absolutely. So the CCA Device Hub powered by Apkudo, which was announced and launched today, basically allows the manufacturers to approach the regional carriers and the broad CCA membership as though they were essentially a virtual tier one. And the pinnacle of it, the central point of it is what we're calling the SmartSpec. So the ability for them to have a single set of common requirements and a common onboarding and testing process across all regionals, so that they just have a single touch point without the need to have hundreds of technical account managers dealing with each and every carrier.
But you do have a lot of input into that spec. So is that part of what you're working on here at the show? Is working through those? It
is absolutely, and in collaboration. It's a collaborative effort between CCA and Apkudo and all of the CCA membership base. So that collaboration is very deep. It's happening amongst all the CCA carriers and the device manufacturers, and it's really the first time that the device ecosystem has been able to just successfully come together in such a collaborative manner to really benefit the regional carriers and the CCA members.
Now, how long do you think it might be before we actually see a device?
There will be a transition process as we get the SmartSpec into place, and then the manufacturers begin working. Our goal is over the next 12 months to be able to ramp up the Device Hub to the point where all regional members are accessing their complete device portfolio through it.
Okay, now obviously, dealing with a wide range or somewhat of a range of spectrum bands when you're dealing with all these carriers. So how does that play into putting the spec together?
Yeah, it's a good point, and really the issues and the reason we call it the SmartSpec is the intelligence behind it deals with that complexity, right? So you have immense variation, both big variations in terms of banding and so forth, all the way down to the minutiae of the thousands of different customization requirements and settings and so forth across all the carriers. So the SmartSpec is built around a concept of being able to tailor a particular device that meets a smart subset of those requirements to get the broadest reach across carriers. You would have seen the announcement from Sprint and CCA around band 12, for example. So one of the great things about the CCA and their membership of Sprint and T-Mobile and this collaborative effort between all the carriers is that the CCA membership can really leverage that influence that they have with the chipset vendors and the manufacturers to be able to develop devices that are meeting this and get that broadest range, catering for all device bands and all other requirements.
Now, I guess we're talking about Android devices here primarily?
Primarily Android devices, but we deal down in the feature phone space as well for niche areas and across other platforms, so Windows Phone and some of the more nascent platforms. But the primary, certainly obviously given the market share of Android, the primary focus is on Android devices.
Okay, so like some of the Linux or what other?
Yeah, some of the nascent platforms are interesting. So Firefox OS and Ubuntu and so forth. And that tremendous innovation that happens in the device ecosystem, the limiting factor there for the regional CCA members to tap into that innovation stream has been this difficulty for those manufacturers to deal across such a broad base of carriers. So we see the Device Hub as the central point that really allows both sides, on the supply side, the manufacturers, and the buy side, the carriers, to come together to really tap into that innovation stream. And what that means for nascent platforms is that being able to tap into that means that they'll be able to get their product out to market faster over a very broad base. So.
Now, can you share any information about which OEM might be the first that will bring a device?
Not at this time. We're certainly working across all manufacturers and all carriers, but we're not making any announcements at this point just around which particular devices will be the first.
Okay. So. Can you talk about whether it's more likely to be a handset than a tablet?
I think you could safely assume that it is more likely to be a handset. The handset side of the device ecosystem is really what is most important to the regional members. It really is where they've had just that tremendous difficulty in getting access to the right devices at the right time at the right price. So I think you could safely assume that the first will be in the handset space.
Okay, we will look for it. Now, before we let you go, can we talk a little bit about your company, Apkudo? How long ago did you found it?
Yeah, Apkudo was founded about 3 years ago, and with really a focus as a startup to really affect innovative disruption, particularly in the wireless test ecosystem. That's with the Device Hub. What we're really being able to tap into there is that testing starts with requirements, so that common set of requirements and a common testing process for the regionals is what we're bringing to the table there. But broadly, Apkudo is focused on affecting disruption in the wireless test industry, which really the opportunity that arises there for us is that wireless test has not in any way kept up with the smartphone revolution and the application revolution. Its processes are very rooted in the feature phone days where you had constrained devices operating in constrained ecosystems. Now you have smart devices operating in a very chaotic environment that you can't control. And Apkudo's technology allows device manufacturers and carriers to effectively deal with that chaos from a device perspective.
Do you have testing labs of your own?
We do. Our main testing lab is out in Baltimore, Maryland. A phenomenal facility that really embodies all of our technology. And we work with every device manufacturer and have been for the last couple of years to analyze their devices for them.
And relationships, I guess, with the chip manufacturers as well?
Relationships with all chip manufacturers and all device manufacturers. So.
Okay, great. Well, we will keep an eye on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.